Thursday, December 12, 2024. The New York Mets officially announced their historic contract with Juan Soto in a national conference. Team owner, Steve Cohen, offers his views.
Puts an accent on what we're trying to do. I mean, it just, like I said, it accelerates, our goal of winning championships. But more important, I think, I kind of said it in the locker room after one of our playoff victories that, my goal was to change how the Mets were reviewed, and I think we're really on the path of changing that. And we're never going to stop. We're always in a constant state of improvement. But that's my goal. My goal is that the Mets are going to be a premier, one of the elite teams in Major League Baseball.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Scandal Sheet. My name is Thad Helsley, and today we're going to do a little tease of a special episode on the news that the New York Mets have signed the largest professional sports contract in history with 26-year-old outfielder Juan Soto. And to lead us through this historic event, we are again joined, or will be joined, by our longtime guests and favorite New Yorkers, the Mets mob. But at the moment, we are joined briefly, we are doing a tease here, by one of the Mets mob, Mr. David Grover. David, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you, Thad. Dave Grover. Happy to be here. Mets fan. I've been a guest on this pod many times, both as in my capacity as a personal injury attorney and in my capacity as a sports fan and a Mets fan. So very happy to be here in my capacity as a Mets fan today. So it's I'll add a little legalese to it, but yeah, what a great week to be a Mets fan. Very exciting. I have 765 million reasons to be happy today.
That's very good. So, for the benefit of listeners, we were hoping to get the whole mob here tonight and throw this thing online. It looks like it's going to be a Sunday, but David is going to help me for the next couple of minutes, kind of tease you guys, give you a little bit of excitement about what's going to come up on Sunday. So, David, you're the lawyer of the bunch. The other guys are like ad sales and stuff like that. Maybe you want to just say, what's the top line on this contract? Why is it the biggest professional sports contract in history?
Well, yeah, 15 years. Think about how old you are, how old I am. Add 15 years to that, and that'll be when this contract is over. And that's scary, isn't it? If you think about that?
But he's only 26, so he'll still be in his 30s.
No,
he'll be a billionaire in his 30s.
But Thad, how old will you be in 15 years? That's the question.
I'll be dead, David.
That's the scary part about it.
I will not be there to see Juan Soto walk away. Yeah.
Retirement. You won't be here for his retirement ceremony. Let's hope you are. So you might be. So it's the 15 years. It's the biggest contract in sports history, which is crazy.
And we're saying all sports, not just baseball, football, soccer, everything, hockey, everything imaginable. This is the number one ever.
Especially not like football, all guaranteed money. Every penny is guaranteed.
And isn't that unusual in some? Some of the recent big things like Ohani or whatever, they didn't have all guaranteed, all no deferment money, right?
Well, baseball contracts are always guaranteed for the most part. Okay. There are options and opt-outs, but they're always essentially guaranteed.
Well, what about the deferred money, though?
It's been used in the past, but now it's been, I guess you could say, abused lately. It's something that was always there, and people had buyouts and deferments, but it was not anything that was significant. And then some guy named Ohtani came along.
Ohtani, right.
Signed a nice little $700 million contract, but was only making $2 million per year now. And then he's going to get paid the rest of the 80 when he's an old man.
Well, that's what I mean.
A lot of money.
And that guy is one of the guys that is worshipped as probably the best baseball player that ever lived, or at least one of them, and maybe Juan Soto is in that camp. But how come he has to defer most of his money, and Juan Soto doesn't.
I think the biggest reason is is 2-6, his age, 26 years old. So this is kind of unique to have a player this great to become a free agent. It's not that common. Typically, players like Ohtani, like Aaron Judge, are 30 years old. It's a big difference because when you sign at 30, well, how many great years do you have left? Typically, maybe 5.
Right, and I
Here
recall,
you got like
you may remember, and because I'm a Washington Nationals fan, I live in the D.C. area. They signed that contract which at the time was a record-breaking contract with Steven Strasburg, right after winning the World Series in 2019, and then and it was the biggest contract ever, and then he only showed up in like 15 innings in 3 years. It was like the biggest tragedy in professional sports.
Worst contract in maybe sports history, certainly baseball history, we could say.
Yeah. But he had a history of injury, and he was, I think, 32 or 33. And of course, fans were like, great, sign him up. But I mean, I was like, really? You think?
Pitching contract, I think pitching's a little different. I think pitching contracts are a lot more risky.
Yeah, it is more risky.
Yeah,
so why did they do it? Why did they do it? Well, I mean, Babe Ruth was a 300-pound guy, and he, and he was one of the best baseball players that ever lived. Every picture you see of him, you're like, wow, that guy's really fat. So how did he huff it around? He didn't have to huff it around because he kept hitting home runs. He could walk the bases, but he was an outfielder. But he played till, I don't know, in his 50s or something like that. So I guess if you're not a pitcher, you can get away with a lot more.
You could. Look, I mean, you have to assume, first of all, we could discuss this on Sunday, but there were some storylines of Juan Soto looking kind of heavy at the press conference.
Yeah. I'm going to post that picture.
I'm assuming it's nothing, but that did come out.
You think he was wearing a fat suit just to be, like he went to the Santa store and got the fat suit thing?
He's at Scott Boris's office every day. They probably have a buffet there. Who knows what's going on.
It's all macaroni and cheese. It's all like...
He was loving life, but I'm hoping he'll get in shape now. And he's supposed to be a hard worker. I'm hoping it's going to happen. Look, the Mets, it's a combination of a lot of things. Best player, one of the best players in all baseball, coming out at 26 years old.
Right.
You have the Dodgers, the Mets, and Yankees all going after him at the same time. That's going to raise the bidding up dramatically. And it's really a unique situation. And you had a team like the Mets who all of a sudden they had this incredibly wealthy, passionate owner who was ready to really put his stamp down there and say, this is it. Dodgers got Ohtani last year. Yankees have gotten everybody. It's my time. This is the time. Nothing's going to stop me. And I think that was his whole thing here. There's never a player like this that comes out as a free agent. And also the Mets have money coming off the books. They had money coming off the books. They had money to spend. This was the best guy that's going to be out for a long, long time. Let's just go crazy and get him. And, PR-wise, sales-wise, look, my son already bought a Soto jersey. So, jersey-wise, ticket sales, marketing. Steve Cohen wants to build a casino, hotel, entertainment center around Citi Field.
Oh, wow.
This could help going in that direction. So there are so many business reasons besides baseball that I think makes sense here, too, for the Mets. And I think that's why they went further than they probably wanted to. But again, 26, that's the magic number to me.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, you heard it here first from Mr. David Grover, attorney at law, super lawyer. Is it 5 years in a row now?
It's something like that. Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Unbelievable. Amazing. And then on Sunday evening, we're going to have the whole Mets mob with us. And there'll be a lot more chaos since those guys get go a little more crazy than David's usually more on the reasonable side of the spectrum, but because he's a lawyer, the other guys are like
not saying much with that crowd.
But look, we just wanted to kind of tease you and hope you'll join us again on Sunday and get the full skinny on this whole deal. So thank you much, everybody, and hang on. You're going to get a lot more information, and thank you for being a listener of Scandal Sheet. Please follow or subscribe to Scandal Sheet on your favorite pod platform and share it with all your friends. We'd also love it if you'd leave us a shameless, over-the-top rave review on Apple Podcasts especially. That helps us build audience. And we would really appreciate it if you could support us on Patreon, where you can enjoy premium bonus content for less than the price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Just go to patreon.com/scandalsheet. Also, we want to hear from you. You can reach us online at Facebook or X, formerly Twitter, LinkedIn, or TikTok, or just send us an email to scandalsheetpod@gmail.com. See you next time on Scandal Sheet!
Copyright 2024. Thad Halsley Media. All rights reserved.